Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope all of you are fine. I'm your science teacher from AppSec 4th Road Middle Wing Boys. The chapter which you have been covering for the last 2 weeks is Unit 2, Cells, Tissues and Organs. First, the recap of topics which you have covered. The chapter started with life processes, as living things have certain characteristics on which they can be identified. Then cells, which are the building blocks of living organisms. As cells are microscopic, so we need a microscope, and the most common type of microscope is light microscope, which uses light to see an object. Then difference between an animal and a plant cell. Major differences are cell wall and chloroplast, which are present in plant cell but absent in animal cell. Then tissues are formed when similar cells combine to perform a similar function, whereas when different tissues combine, they make up an organ. This is all the recap of the previous weeks. Now this week's assignment topic is sense organs. Sense organs are basically specialized organs that help to perceive and respond to the world around us. There are 5 types of sense organs: eye, sense organ of sight; ear, sense organ of hearing; tongue, sense organ of taste; skin, sense organ of touch; and nose, sense organ of smell. The subtopics of this week are eyes, which are the sense organ of sight, and ears, which are the sense organ of hearing. First, I will go through the eyes. They are the sense organ of sight. Our eyes are present in sockets in the skull, which protects our eyes from injury or damage. They are held in place in the sockets as they are attached by muscles, which help us to move our eyes up and down and from side to side. Our eyes produces stereoscopic vision. How? We have 2 eyes which are few centimeters apart, so they produce 2 slightly different views of the same scene on the retina. 3-dimensional vision that is produced by combining 2 different views of the same scene is stereoscopic vision, and this is done by your brain. Now I will discuss the parts of the eye in detail. The first part of the eye is the cornea. That is the transparent outer covering of the front of the eye. Its function is to allow the light to enter the eye and to focus the light as well. Now next to cornea is the sclera. That is the white skin in the eye that is continuous with the cornea. You can see in the picture, as well as the white portion is also visible clearly in your eyes. The major function of the sclera is that it supports the eyeball and provides an area of attachment of muscles that controls the movement of eyes. Next is the colored part of the eye, that is called as the iris, clearly visible in the picture and in your eyes. Its function is to control the light entering into the eye because its muscles change the size of the pupil. Now what is the pupil? Now this black dot or the hole that you can see in the picture is the pupil, and this area takes in light so the eyes can focus on the object in front of it. Now how the eyes can focus the object that is placed in front of it? Now this can be done by pupil expansion and pupil contraction. Now when a person is sitting or standing in a dark room and you need more light to view the objects that are present around you, now what will happen in that case? The pupil get bigger, allowing more light to enter the eye. In the opposite one, when you are standing or sitting in a bright sun or in a too bright room, you need less light to enter the eye. In that case, the pupil will get smaller and allow less light to enter into your eyes. Next part is the lens, that is jelly-like present behind the pupil. It focuses the light the pupil takes in. Now the lens can change its shape because it has a ring of muscles that are running around its edge. And why the lens is changing its shape? Because it depends on the amount of light that hits it so that it can be focused. Next part is the retina. You can see in the picture it is present at the back of the eye. It contains 2 types of cells, rods and cones, and the function of the retina is that it converts all the light signals it receives into electrical signals. The nerve that is present in the brain is the optic nerve. Optic nerve is made of nerve fibers, and the function of the optic nerve is that it carries electrical signals from the retina to the brain. This diagram shows the structure of the eye and all its parts. You can clearly see cornea is in the front, behind the cornea is the pupil, and behind the pupil is the lens. You can see retina at the back of the eye, and the optic nerve is also visible in the picture. Now how your eyes work. Now look at this picture. In the picture you can see a tree. Rays of light from the tree enter the eye, and after entering the eye it will pass through the cornea, first through the cornea. Then after passing through the cornea, it will enter the pupil, and from the pupil it will enter the lens. Now from the lens, the rays will reach the retina, which is present at the back of the eye, and set up signals in the nerve cells present in the retina. Now the image formed on the retina is small and upside down, as you can see the inverted image of the tree that is smaller than the actual object. Now the nerve cells send signals to the brain along the optic nerve, and the same upright image as of the real object is made, and you can see in the picture the final image of the tree is same as the actual object. This is all about the eye. Next one is of the organ of hearing, that is the ear. There are two ears on each side of the head. And why we have two ears? So as to tell from where the sound is coming. The ear is divided into three parts: outer ear, middle ear and inner ear. Outer ear is made up of ear flap, ear canal and eardrum. Middle ear contains three small bones that are hammer, anvil and stirrup. Inner ear is made up of cochlea and auditory nerve. Now this diagram shows the ear is divided into three parts, and these three parts are clearly visible in this diagram: outer ear, middle ear and inner ear. Now one by one I will discuss these parts. Now first part is outer ear. Outer ear is made up of ear flap, which is a small flap of skin forming the ear pinna, and it transmits the sound waves to the ear canal. Ear canal is simply a pathway from the outer ear to the middle ear, and it ends at the eardrum. Eardrum is a thin membrane that separates your ear canal and the middle ear. Now this is the middle ear. Middle ear is made up of three small bones. You can clearly see in the picture hammer. With the hammer, anvil is attached, and with the anvil, stirrup is attached. The main function of the middle ear is that it transmits the sound from the outer ear to the inner ear. Then the inner ear. The inner ear is the innermost part of the ear, and it is made up of cochlea and the auditory nerve. You can see in the picture, cochlea is a spiral shaped bone just like a snail and plays an important role in the sense of hearing as it contains the nerve cells, whereas auditory nerve is the nerve that is present in the ear and it transfers the sound information from the cochlea to the brain. Semicircular canals are also the parts of the inner ear, and they are the organs of balance. They are fluid filled tubes that are attached to the cochlea, and the fluid in the cochlea moves when a person is moving. Now this is a diagram that shows how the ear works. You can see sound waves travel in the form of vibrations that are collected by the ear flap, which send them through the ear canal and then to the eardrum. As a result, the eardrum vibrates and pass these sound vibrations to the three small bones that are hammer, which will then pass to the anvil, and then these vibrations will be passed to the stirrup. From the stirrup, these vibrations are passed to the cochlea. The nerve cells in the cochlea will pass the vibrations from the cochlea to the brain through the auditory nerve. The brain interprets these signals and we hear the sound. This is again the steps that have been taken when the ear works. Ear flap sends the signals to ear canal sends signal vibrations to the eardrum sends vibrations to the three small bones. The three small bones will vibrate and send the vibrations to the cochlea through the auditory nerve will send the vibrations to the brain. This is all about the sense organs. Now coming to your assignment. First, after watching this video, you have to read the textbook pages 24, 25, 26 and 31. After reading those pages, you have to do the written assignment. You have to attempt the questions 1, 2 and 3 of page 25 and question 1, 2, 3, 4 of page 26. Afterwards, you have to do question 6 of exercise. Then you have to draw the label diagrams of eye and ear which are present on page 24 and 26. Then at the end you have to prepare a glossary list in which you have to identify the difficult words on these pages and write down the meanings of those words. Thank you.